We are the Borg. Lower your shields and surrender your ships. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Your culture will adapt to service us. Resistance is futile.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to CRWS decoding of Star Trek First Contact. Getting started, this series I suspect is very integral to the racist hive mind known as racist men and racist women, the people who maintain the system of racism and white supremacy. This programming that they have coded into this series of Star Trek of white people going into the future, going into the galactic arena, and just it gets me thinking that they definitely think light years ahead. And this film has a lot of coded imagery, especially the fear of darkness, the fear of blackness, but also that same blackness, that same substance being something that is power. Very bizarre. Let me get to a very telling image of what I'm getting at. This character here, the female Borg. This is just really interesting. We always see this in their film. Sci-fi is no exception. We see her attached to a full black body, and I see this as code. The entire Borg situation is code for the system of racism and white supremacy. The Borg needs non-white. It needs non-white subjects, non-white victims to assimilate. I suspect that's what's going on, and this is one of the Yurugu's greatest fear, meeting a group of white people who go around dominating other people just like themselves, and then maybe them having some sort of conflict. But I digress a little bit, so I'll pause my mic there and see if folks going to chime in.
Lamar Burton, the guy who with the eyes, they look kind of blue. That was interesting. They were actually electronic. Go ahead, correct me.
No, they were blue eyes.
Yeah, on a black man, a black male, I mean. Mistake. I used to be a fan, aka fanatic, about this show. And I don't recall. I can't remember a time when Lamar Burton, when he had an interest. It seemed like he was asexual. Yet Data, the robot or whatever, he at least had a relationship. I don't remember them giving the character Lamar a relationship the whole time that I watched it. But it's been a long time. I could be wrong about that. That's really interesting. They made him asexual.
He did have a couple of but it wasn't very frequent. Yeah. One woman was a doctor and found out she was married, and that was there. But yeah, he long term, no, there was no love interest for him. Worf has had a few, but not but LeVar Burton.
I do remember Worf. Yeah, I remember Worf had one because he was more like you. And why is that even later? How come Worf never becomes number one? How come you're the one that knows how to fight, the tactical person is whatever number he was, and you have number one is number one, which is a white man, another white man. The first white man is Jean-Luc Picard, and then his number one is a white man, and then you make Lieutenant Worf. I would think you would make him number one. No, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, he eventually, I think, goes back to the Klingon Empire. There's one, like, I guess, timeline where he becomes like the chancellor of the Klingon Empire or something.
Mm.
But there was like, I think I read a book because I was really into it myself. I read in a book, I think, like when Jonathan Frakes' character, number one, Will
Mhm.
Riker, has his own ship. I think he offers the number one, his first officer position to Worf, and for some reason he doesn't take it. So I don't know, but it's to be expected. And Worf is like fourth behind Data.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah. That is.
he's behind Data.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I wanted to decode the blue eyes really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if his character is a person, like a human or a android or something. Is he a human, so-called human in this fiction?
He's blind.
Yeah, he's human.
He was born
but-
with, yeah, he's human. He was born blind, and the visor is supposed to be to help him see. And it
Yeah.
does give him some benefits, like he can see in infrared or whatever.
Mhm.
And you saw like the eyes, they did change so he could focus on something that he was looking at.
Mhm.
But yeah, he was born blind.
Yeah, so I decode the blue eyes as him literally having blue eyes. I see that as in the feature, and the feature racist man and racist woman would appreciate taking us is a feature where they are still training us and conditioning us to see through a white lens. I see him as still under white domination, mind control. You know, he's still very much a victim of racism, even if he's light years ahead of space. He's still in a servant victim role, it seems. So, and I'm sure the eyes are definitely can also be coded as in you know, people with color in their skins are often said to be capable of unlocking some sort of third eye or whatnot. But even if that is the case, racist man, racist woman, they will still use our third eye to support the system of racism and white supremacy.
A tacky relationship between Lily and Jean-Luc Picard, the captain. At first she was afraid, and then he coaxed her, you know, made her relax, and you know, put down the phaser. And I'm like, oh, mistake.
Yeah, this.
Put down the phaser and trust me.
Yeah. What? Oh, and a little history about Gene, the creator of this show. He was in a tragic relationship with Lieutenant Uhura. I might be pronouncing her name wrong, but the black female from the original Star Trek.
Oh, geez. Dang, super mushed her mind up, I'm sure.
And while he was in a relationship with her, he was in a relationship with another female, and they both kind of knew about it. It's not like he
And he was married at the time.
Yes.
Uh,
Tacky all the way around.
yeah,
I would say trashy, but okay.
Racists are the biggest deadbeats, it seems.
Did you all notice when the white woman was drunk with number one? I just found it interesting how they still have time to imbibe. And she also stated in that scene that it's a primitive culture. So that stuck out to me. White people and their alcohol. I believe she was drinking dark liquor also.
Yes, sir. That was the 30-minute mark.
Yes.
Even when they're drunk, they're still in control. That's what I got out of that.
Ooh, good eye. Yeah.
Not even that. I'm drunk. I'm still capable of making a warp drive. How about that? White power. Don't forget what they're here for. this Cochrane or whatever, with the decoded phallic name of the guy who's building the phallic spaceship. That's what he's doing. He's, even though he's intoxicated, alcoholic, he's still capable of building a warp drive. Because this is how racist men and racist women like to display themselves as all powerful masterminds of everything. So yeah, I thought that was really to be expected. Actually, all the white men in this even Data seemed very, very, very capable. And it wasn't until after we saw Mr. Worf being silly, because I remember like during the beginning action sequence, he like the ship is attacked and he starts hitting like the controls of the ship, to try to get it to work. And then his partners are super calm and collective, telling him what's going on. You even catch that? You get catch? Well, I caught that part. And then later we see him be like, giving orders and, taking charge. But
The first time they showed Worf, he was in the scene with environmental error factors. That is what that was, right? The first time we saw Worf.
Yes.
Yeah. One line from the Borg Queen stuck out to me. We strive for perfection. And that reminded me of when Dr. Wilson says that we are in a perfected system of white supremacy. Anybody catch that?
Dang.
Yes.
So Wilson said we are in the perfected system of white supremacy.
Yes. I believe she would say that we've been lied to. We've been told that this is a democracy with imperfections, but this is a perfect system of white supremacy.
Yeah, I think that is a correct analysis and statement, accurate depiction of what's happening on planet Earth. It definitely seems to me that they have perfected assimilation, to use some Star Trek terminology. The racist man and racist woman definitely assimilated our minds, the way we think. They seem to control that. They seem to be able to guide our behaviors, and globally, non-white people and white people seem to be controlled by the white people who practice racism, the most powerful white people on the planet, who seem to be like the Borg. There's many of them, not hiding in plain sight. Well, hiding in plain sight as well, but the Borg, I don't know if they're hiding in plain sight, but the racists seem to be hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, I think that scene is around like 46-minute mark, which is Ray talking about the Borg and that she strives for perfection. So that's at like 46, 47 minute mark. Think about it. I got that thing. When she was talking to Data.
Another running theme throughout the series show, the term human race, that's used quite a few times, and
I wrote that down.
Unites humanity. So they want to build this warp machine so they can go out into space to reach out to aliens, and you haven't cleaned up anything here on Earth.
It's not only that, they're like, okay, World War III just ended. Planet Earth is in ruin. All right, it's time to leave. So this drunk white person is, builds a warp drive and it tries to, leave. And then because they achieve that development, they are allowed first contact. So the more refined racists who have been able to contain their Yurugu emotions, the Vulcan, which is the characters which I just described, they've been coded as the Vulcans. They come and then they help the races on planet Earth to so-called live long and prosper. There's still no justice in the future of Star Trek, there's peace. They say there's peace. Picard said there is peace, but there's still all this conflicts going on, still galactic battles happening. So there's not actual peace. So the future is still seems to be ruled by racism, white supremacy, even in Star Trek. You know, no one's actually living long or prospering. It's just
Yes,
refined
indeed.
white supremacy. Yeah, go ahead.
Did you hear Captain Picard's last orders to go somewhere in the northwestern hemisphere and lay low? It sounded to me like he was giving instructions to start the northwestern front. Have you heard about that? A lot of white supremacists talk about sealing themselves off in the northwestern section of the northwestern hemisphere. So when he was giving those last orders, I believe Alfred Woodard's character. Anyone remember that?
Yeah, I did remember that. I didn't decipher that code though, but wow, very, very interesting. Another thing I picked up on that folks may have noticed was I don't know the black female's character name, but she's like the Borg, sounds Swedish, and then later on she says, "Oh, definitely not Swedish." And you know, a more confused audience is supposed to think that, oh, you know, the Borg are not white people because Swedish code for white person. The Borg is definitely code for white people. You know, it's the ultimate Yurugu. It's a Yurugu that has, you know, taken technology to, no, not, it's taking the technology to the infinite extreme. You know, the Yurugu has no limits. The Yurugu is ever expanding, ever willing to expand. And that's what the Borg is doing. That the Borg wants to do that till infinity. So that's the how this white person sees, you know, how white person could evolve if they don't, you know, produce some sort of checks and balances by how they use technology. You know, you know, in the mind of the racist, maybe we shouldn't use technology to augment ourselves so much. Maybe we should just use it to keep non-white people as our subjects. You know, let them use technology. We have to, you know, not end up like the Borg, essentially.
In the very beginning, there was an interesting exchange between Worf and number one. Worf comes on to they pull him up off of the ship that he was on that was going down. So he comes up on the Enterprise, and they were saying something about size, and number one was like, what, that little thing? And I got to feel like a sexual innuendo right there.
Yeah, this
At the very beginning.
Yeah, he's like little ship, like
Yeah,
number
little
one's
ship.
like, yeah, he's like, what do you mean little ship? And there's tons of there's tons of sexual innuendos because even light years ahead in the future, white people's heads seem to still be in a gutter. You know, sex is always on the mind. Which is why we have to see a scene of two pale, pasty, coded images of white people get real sensual with each other. You know.
Y'all remember that kissing scene between Data and the Borg Queen, and she kind of opens her eyes like a serpent.
Yeah, the sea, Masters of the Sea,
Yeah.
Masters of the Sea.
That opening scene in Captain Picard's dream reminded me of the Matrix. You know how they were all hooked up. That had those thousands and thousands of
Yeah, me
the little
too.
pods.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought of the Matrix immediately. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, excellent representation of the system. We're all literally trapped in the system, you know, being bombarded with this evil messages 24/7. Many of us have fallen victim, not victim. Well, yeah, well, of course, victim, but fallen prey to these messages in a manner that we are totally under mind control. Borg mind control. We think like a white person. We think like a white person who practices racism, actually. And yeah, this movie, while not the best, while not while also not that entertaining, definitely coded, heavily coded. Anything else? I'm sure I'm missing tons. Yeah, this.
Dare I say that the lady? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say the LeVar character. Yeah, he seems just so Oh yeah, the scene where he is talking to Cochrane, the interaction was just seems so awkward to me. I was like, it's kind of uncomfortable, and I was like, oh, it's system of racism. The interactions don't get no better than tacky, trashy, or terroristic, and it's not like anything overtly racist was said. It's not that anyone was attempting to mistreat one another that I noticed. It's just that, the way things have been set up, the interactions can only at best be tacky, and they're just trying to have a regular conversation. But no, there's a giant race problem looming over this galactic conflict that is also happening. And until they address, the race problem, the space problem is not really going to
It's
be
omnipresent.
improved. Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Mhm. Did you all catch the Wilson moment when they were talking about Moby Dick?
No, I did not elaborate.
Just that whole scene, Dr. Wilson in the ISIS papers talks about Moby Dick. Alfred Woodard's character, Lily, she says Captain Ahab has to go hunt his whale. And then moments later, Picard was saying it was actually an excerpt from Moby Dick. He was saying that a sum of all hate and rage felt by his whole race. Did you all catch that?
Oh, I missed that. Ooh.
No,
Yeah.
good eye, Ray. But yeah, continuing, make light years in the future, still quoting Moby Dick.
Hey,
Still
white people say the
compensating.
devil is in the details.
Yeah, still compensating for that white phallic that cannot produce color. Going off to the infinite vastness of the space, still cannot produce color, therefore still possibly mad. And I mean that in the insane context. Anyone notice just like they did slop in some overt racism, but if you're more confused, you could have missed it. It's this part where I guess they have this hyper advanced simulation technology on their computer. On their ship, where they can like read books, well, experience books or something. Anyways, this white lady right here, she says when she kisses
You're not showing like the actual like person on the actual screen.
Okay. Oh, wow.
When she told Lily, she was like, dump this broad.
Yeah, she said drop the broad, like, whoa. Like,
I was just about to mention that, like, and notice she has blonde hair.
Yeah. Counterpart. Picard's actual counterpart. Not this confused victim who like is having to, cower with him. First of all, this character, did anyone notice that Picard, she asked two questions that I noticed that he did not answer. He did not answer her because I guess he was a man of action. He couldn't waste his time answering a victim's question. But yeah, to drop the broad, I'm pretty sure that got in the theaters, I'm pretty sure I got a large laugh from the audience, or at least a chuckle from them.
Notice when she was asking Picard about like how much does it cost to make a machine like this, make a ship like this, and then she's like, well, how much do you get paid? Y'all don't get paid money, and I feel like that's tapping into or trying to put like, oh, how weird about money, like not white people,
Yeah.
black people about money.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's how I took it. I don't know if y'all could explain it better.
I caught that also, and he also responded by saying economics of the future are quite different. What do they mean by that?
I mean, it means we stop the money facade. We just go around and take what we need now. We don't. We got warp drives and phaser cannons now. If you can't really say no to us anymore. So but yeah, I did catch that. Yeah, I guess this series has a ton of lore, of like information. Fiction, they call it fiction, but I suspect it's more of a blueprint, more of a training manual, more of messages that white people are sending to one another to get them really geared and prepared and thinking about traversing the stars and maintaining their survival into the light years ahead, while at the same time, hey, we got to keep the non-white people under our domination. Even when, as we go into the stars, into the light years, we have to make sure they're coming with us on a leash. They're not coming with us side by sides. We're not coming in this together. They're coming behind us as our subjects. They're coming under us into the stars. This is what sci-fi is all about. Preparing white people for an infinite existence of dominating non-white people, an infinite future of going out and waging war against dark beings across the universe. I suspect this is what the majority of sci-fi is all about.
I don't know how true this is, so please, people, do your research, do your own research. But I think I read somewhere that the flip cell phone, that image came from the first Star Trek with William Shatner. I don't know if anybody knows about that. I don't know how true that is. Please do your own research.
Oh yeah, I've heard that, and just the way I process this information, this movie, this series seems very, very prolific. It seems very like very much, yeah, predicting a lot of stuff. They're very much yeah. They are definitely plotting out how they're gonna go about their next couple thousand years. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, this is how white people think. They don't think like a year or two. No, they think 50, 100. They think way, way, way in advance. And this is a prime example. This show is a good example of that. How they think so far in advance.
Other folks who wanted to share some words about the film who haven't shared anything yet, possibly?
I suspect that this film is an indirect look into the hive-mindedness, if I can use that as a term, amongst the system of white supremacy. That's how they function. I believe Mr. Fuller had recommended the show Boss with Kelsey Grammer, And I remember a line that Kelsey Grammer used in that no one man is bigger than the machine. And that's how the board functions. That's how the system of white supremacy itself functions. No one white person, no one board, is bigger than the collective. Yeah, this is just an insight.
Yeah, just the racist man and racist woman, the racist collective. I do suspect this is some sort of hive mind situation that we are dealing with, because we have a number of recordings from various white people from across the globe, thanks to various kind of racist scholars and victims and white people. So we have they're not in contact with each other. They can't be in contact with each other 24/7, but the way they're able to, but they're still thinking and behaving in the same manner. And even if the information is in the content that they produce, the TV, the music, there are some white people who don't even have access to that. They don't have access to technology, so-called rural areas, but they still have the same manner of behaving on planet Earth. So the silly, as has been mentioned in Yurugu, and that could be some sort of hive mind like situation. I don't know.
Yeah,
This is why
just
people getting on code.
go ahead. Sorry about that.
No, that's it. White people getting on code.
Okay. Just to bring up what Salt was saying about the cell phone. So Martin Cooper, he used to work for Motorola. He said that he created the first personal cell phone, citing Captain Kirk's communicator on Star Trek as an inspiration. His first call on a 28-ounce cordless cell phone, dubbed the Brick, was his rival at Bell Labs Research. So there you go.
Yeah, this is why white people definitely also have a code of thought, speech, and behavior. But on top of that, I think what we learned from other kind of racist scholars, the way that culture, what people want to do with their time and energy on planet Earth. It's been said that that is predisposed. That's something that we carry in our genetics, what we want to do with our time and energy. It seems like white people are the racists who call themselves white. It seems like what they want to do with their time and energy is a whole lot of area 8, a whole lot of aggression, and they want to keep expanding. So either they have devised a code about how to do that, and it seems like they have. It seems like a part of that code is white sacrifice, like Ray said. No, which is why we have so much white sacrifice, perhaps, because hey, no one is greater. No white person is greater than the system of white supremacy. We'll get rid of thousands of white people to keep the system in place. Hence, the great battle happening right now between two white groups. That's not damaging white supremacy or threatening it. But yeah, whatever we're dealing with is super incorrect, and non-white people should be motivated to produce a system of justice, demand white people to help us produce a system of justice, or kill all of us. Because this having to be on this planet with all this evilness, Black people going missing, organs being stolen, and just bombs being dropped on Black people every day is super incorrect and should never been happening in the first place. So we, as non-white people, as a collective, we need to, if we can learn something from the Borg, we should definitely develop a hive mind mentality of, hey, produce a system of justice, guarantee that no one on planet Earth is going to be mistreated, and those who need help receive constructive help. Guarantee this, or kill all non-white people. And then I can have this planet, and then you could go to Jupiter, you could go to Mars, to the moon. You can do all that. But we gotta we have to eliminate the system and replace it with something better. This is ridiculous. This is this is so, yeah.
Before we end, I'd like to read the definition of assimilate. That word has been used a litany of times throughout the feature, and that is to take in and incorporate as one's own, to absorb. If that isn't a system of white supremacy, unless there's a need for a compensatory definition. Maybe that's something to think on.
Definitely. Yeah, themes, white people are projecting, manifesting themselves a grand future of domination and subjugating everything not white. So we could counter that by projecting and countering and working towards a system of justice right now. ProduceJustice.com. Yeah, race code war. This is yeah, absolutely nonsensical. Miss Christine Williams. That's, yeah, we have yeah, this is so bizarre. We have a pale creature, Borg called, that's what they're called, attached to a Black body. It's really in your face, them compensating for not having the color, and then turning that lack of color into a system of white supremacy. And it's just really too much to unpack right now, honestly. But we have a study on the ISIS papers, race code war, and Yurugu, which are very precise, and they will allow you to understand exactly what we are dealing with when we say white person, when we say Yurugu, when we say suspected racist, when we say white supremacist. Yeah. And let's see. We got Mr. Yabu in the chat. Hyperdrive traveling at higher speeds. Yeah, they're trying to go faster than light speed here. All right, I think we're going to be able to wrap up. If folks want to have anything they may have forgotten to mention from their notes, let me check mine. Oh yeah, this series has a literal cult following. People learn the Klingon language. I've been told that people have gotten married in the culture of Klingon. So this racist propaganda has huge impacts on the existences of people, largely to distract from the race problem and to motivate us to support the system and definitely not counter it. But that's one way we could use this entertainment they allow us to have access to. We can show the insane debauchery, the insane evil thinking of people that we're dealing with. Alrighty, thank everyone for their participation and their trudging through this film. We'll definitely be here again. Thanks everyone for participating in the chat. Please share this information if you think it was of constructive value. Like, comment, share, subscribe. CRWS is signing out.